What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Review Garage. Today on the table we have the Eberlestock Fade Flex and the Eberlestock Bando, and we're going to put these two bags head to head, and I'm going to tell you what bag I think comes out on top. So before we get into this head-to-head battle of these two tactical fanny packs, I do want to mention, if you're interested, I do have my individual reviews of the Bando and the Fade Flex up on my channel. So if you want more of a detailed, in-depth overview review of either of these bags, I do have those videos up on my channel. Now with that, the first thing I kind of want to discuss when comparing these bags head to head with the Bando and the Fade Flex is kind of just the size. So I think that's obviously something, if you're shopping these two models, you're probably pretty interested in the size comparison. So go ahead and just get a little side-by-side, front and back kind of look here. As you can see, Fade Flex quite a bit taller. Pretty low, still gives a pretty low profile design here from the side view. As you can tell, it's a pretty slim pack, which is nice. The Bando has more traditional fanny pack design, is actually a little bit bulkier from that side profile, as you can tell. Look at the back here. You can see again the Bando. This whole zipper on the Fade Flex is above the actual top of the Bando, so quite a bit of a taller bag here on the Fade Flex. Now, one of the things I thought was really important when doing this size comparison was showing you kind of what you can fit, like firearm-wise, what you can fit in each bag on the Fade Flex and the Bando. So I do have a full-size 1911 and a compact Glock 19 and then a micro-compact SIG 365. So I'm going to kind of just show you fit-wise so you can get an idea of what you could carry if you're using this pack for concealed carry, kind of what size you get inside in both these bags. So we'll go ahead and start with the, we'll do the micro compact here first. Let's see, the micro compact, so let's open up, we'll put in the Bando first just so you can see how it kind of looks in here. I don't have a holster or anything in here. And these firearms have all already been checked, they're cleared. Don't even have magazines in them, but again, we're all clear here. So you'll see, again, the Bando, really in my opinion, the Bando is predominantly made for a micro pistol, micro 9, whatever you want to call it here. This is really what it's going to be made for. This is the sweet spot on the Bando, is carrying a micro 9 like this. This is really what it's going to hold. Really, it's about all it's going to hold. But so this, you can see our micro in here. Go ahead and zip this up so you can see it real quick here. It looks like it in it, obviously. Now again, I just have this loose in here, but pretty well there. You see that there. Now we're going to go ahead and we'll pop this same pistol into our Fade Flex right here. As you'll see, just leaps and bounds and valleys more room in the Fade Flex. As you can see here, and you got all sorts of room to kind of mount this however you might want, whatever angle, or depending on how you're drawing. All sorts of room in here with a micro pistol here. Now next up, we'll do the Glock 19. Again, mag's not in, pistol's empty. Let me open this, it's already open. So we'll see, this is about as big as you're gonna get in the Bando is the Glock 19. Now you can fit it, but you're gonna be limited on, like, depending on how you like to draw this pistol, whether you're wearing it chest carry or traditional fanny pack, you're pretty limited on how this is going to mount in here. It's pretty much almost has to be like this. Not a lot of wiggle room. Now it will zip up, and you can do it. Like, I've carried this in here, no problem. But it's tight, and you're very limited on like how you actually be able to set up your holster in here. Like it's pretty much, it kind of has to be this way. So limited in space, but you can get a compact pistol in here, the Glock 19. So we'll go ahead and put this in the Fade Flex. And once again, you'll kind of get a pretty good example here of how much more space is in this Fade Flex. Again, you have room. You can still mount it at different angles depending on how you're carrying it. Plenty of space in here. So again, Fade Flex, if space is important, especially if you're using it for concealed carry, Fade Flex is definitely going to be the winner when it comes to the size and capacity kind of comparison. Now I will do the full size just to kind of show you. here at my 1911. Again, already been cleared. Good to go here. We have, this is just, there's no there's no way that a 1911 is fitting in the Bando. It's not happening. But in the Fade Flex, now again, the Fade Flex is actually a tight fit, but I was able to get it to work and to carry it. Again, you're not going to be able to move it around too much. Talking about how, angle, how you like to draw, but it will fit a full-size pistol in the Fade Flex. So that's, again, if it's important to you to carry a full-size pistol, or if you just want the versatility to be able to carry a full-size pistol, you're going to definitely want to probably go with the Fade Flex, kind of point blank. So that kind of gives you a look at the capacity, at least, from a concealed carry standpoint. I will also just kind of show these front pockets so you can see. Again, if you want more detailed review on all this, check out my channel, the actual Fade Flex and Bando reviews that I did. I'll just kind of show quick capacity here as well. You got your front little admin area here. A lot of space in this Fade Flex. I mean, really, just a ton of space, which is great. If you want space, you want to be able to customize where you mount. You can Velcro anything on this, front pocket here. A lot of space, endless options. These, nice deep pockets here. Even this zipper pocket here is really deep. You can just get a lot of things in here. So that's definitely a theme with the Fade Flex. Space is king in the Fade Flex. Now we'll look in the front pocket on the Bando. Again, this is a really tiny pocket, and if you watch my individual review on the Bando, one of my complaints was my phone really doesn't even fit in this front pocket, which was a bummer because I like being able to just kind of have a separate spot for my phone and easy to easy to open, close. I could kind of squeeze it in here, but I have to use two hands to open and close it and get the phone out. So it just didn't really work for me. I found I had to put my phone in the kind of your main admin pocket here. So again, you can just kind of instantly tell it's a lot tighter than in the Fade Flex, but there's still a decent amount of space in this Bando. Again, this is a small Bando, not the large one, but just not as much space, but still plenty of room to put your keys, your wallet, chapstick, flashlight, whatever you might want to carry in here. You're still able to get that in here. So just not obviously not as much as the Fade Flex, and of course you have our main concealed compartment there. And I will say also, when talking about size on the Bando, I did notice too, when you are carrying, if you are using this for carry and you have your CCW in here, it prints through a lot into this main compartment here. Like it really will push through, even just with my 365. It pushes through a lot to where if you're wearing this zipper is really hard to get to with the pistol, and really just anything in here, it's just pushed forward, like it's almost like that. So again, if space is your concern, capacity is your concern, the Fade Flex is definitely going to be probably the pack you're going to want to go with in that regard. Now, as far as organization goes on both these packs, again, with the Fade Flex, you got a lot of individual kind of like freedom to set it up how you want to set it up. You can Velcro anything on this, anything here you'd want. You can get creative here on both sides in your main concealed carry compartment. Again, you can Velcro however you want to do this in here. I was carrying my mag in here. You can just get all sorts of attachments, and I mean you can have a field day kind of setting this up how you want to set it up. But it is more of a blank canvas is how I would describe it. Kind of a blank canvas to set it up how you want from an organization standpoint. Again, you do this nice little admin setup here, which is great. But overall, it's more of a blank canvas, whereas with the Bando, you get more, you get your one pocket here, and then you just got some, 2 slots here in your zipper compartment. If you're not carrying a lot of things, I actually preferred the Bando just because there's a lot of like open space in here. So if you're like jogging or doing some sort of workout where this bag's gonna be moving a lot, and you don't have a lot of things in it, the Bando does a better job kind of keeping them in place. Whereas in the Fade Flex, things can kind of move around a little bit. Now, next up, I do want to talk about quality. Now, if you've owned Eberlestock products before, I mean they're both high quality bags. I haven't had any issues with like any quality control with items with either of the bags. Again, you got great stitching on the Bando all around. Even like how they have like the Stitch logo. If you see here, we got nice stitching on the logo. Just great quality all around on both bags. But I do think on the Bandos just seems a little bit higher quality to me. Like if I had to like just have one path I was gonna have to just go out in the middle of the woods with and survive for 6 months for whatever reason, it just feels like it is built just a little bit better, and I don't really have a ton to base that off of, other than my biggest complaint with the Fade Flex compared to the Bando from a quality standpoint is going to be our buckle on the back. The buckle on the Bando just feels a lot higher quality, a thicker plastic, a heavier plastic. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this little sound test here. We'll click our buckle here. You hear that nice solid. You really have to push down, get it out. It feels like a really well-built, robust kind of buckle design here. And on our Fade Flex, it's not to say it's like a bad buckle. I've had no issues with it, but it is a lot thinner of a material, a lot thinner, and just you just hear that clip. It's just like it's a little bit dainty on the buckle compared to the Bando. I think this might be like one of the few weak points on the Fade Flex. They probably did it to keep it light, like it's a lighter material on both sides, but it's a little bit. I don't know how well this would hold the test of time. Again, I had no issues with it, but it's just worth pointing out. And it's even really easy to push here to where it seems like you could almost have an issue where you accidentally unbuckle it if you leaned your weight a certain way. Again, I've never had that issue, but I'm just pointing it out. Other than that, quality all around on both bags is great. The zippers on the Fade Flex are awesome, nice thick. You can see that stitching there, nice thick zippers. Quality all around on both bags. Quality is great on both bags. Hard to pick a winner, but I think just because of the buckle alone, I think I would choose the Bando. It just has a little bit more of a kind of a rugged feel to it. But again, both high quality bags for sure. Now next, I kind of just want to talk about looks. I think both these bags are pretty good looking in both their kind of own ways. But there is something about the two-tone on the Bando, and this is the Coyote Brown, it has the gray here. I just think it's like one of the best looking like tactical concealed carry utility bags on the market. Again, I've reviewed a lot of these bags the last couple months. I've owned a lot of them. I just think the Bando is the best looking bag. I think it's got a good rugged look to it, but it's almost like got a little classy look too, I feel like. It's just kind of goes with everything. There's a few different colors to choose from too, but I really like this two-tone look. I think it just looks really good. And actually my wife as well, when I was wearing this, it's one of the few fanny packs I could wear that she doesn't really make fun of me for. Now again, the Fade Flex, not a bad looking bag. Obviously a little bit more simple. Doesn't kind of scream, I don't think either of the bags scream tactical, which I like about both of them, but this has a very simple look to it. This is the steel color, I think they call it. Again, they have a couple, I think a black and one other color, black, steel, and I can't even think of the last color, but there's one more color as well. Again, good looking bag, but I don't know, there's something about that Bando. I just think the Bando looks great. Now that's obviously to each their own, but good looking bags, but I do think the Bando kind of has a better aesthetic overall. Now I also want to talk about comfort when carrying both these bags. Now again, I mostly prefer carrying on the waist. I think the Fade Flex, at least for me, it did better on the chest, like more as a chest sling bag. I found that to be more comfortable. Again, it's a pretty big bag to be carrying around the waist. For reference, I'm 6'2", 150, so I'm kind of a tall, slim guy, and this is a pretty big bag for me, especially on the waist. Like it damn near covers up half my body, so it's a pretty big bag here. Now, if we're carrying from the chest, I do think I prefer the Fade Flex design carrying from the chest. It feels like it was almost meant for that more so, I think. It just carries better, whereas the Bando feels more like the waist carry. the Fade Flex feels more like chest carry. Carries really comfortably from the chest. And again, it is a bigger bag, so me having a smaller frame, this thing covers about half my chest, actually more than half my chest. But it never feels bulky around my chest, never weighs me down. Wears really comfortably around the chest. So if you're using it as a chest carry piece, I think the Fade Flex, again, great there. Both comfortable bags though. Never had any issues with something not being comfortable. One thing that's nice to point out on the Fade Flex is how your excess strap fits in this back pocket, which is an awesome little feature. See, strap's just down there. I think that's an awesome little feature from a comfort standpoint because you don't have any, there's never any excess strap, getting out of the buckle, hitting you around, smacking you around the legs, whatever it might be. So I think that's a really nice plus with the Fade Flex. So to kind of bring it all home here on this little head-to-head comparison, I think the pros with the Bando are going to be it's compact, it's lighter weight, fast access. It's kind of easier to just kind of grab and go for short little, day trip, quick little day outings. Little, I'm gonna leave my house for an hour. I'm just gonna grab this and go. And I do prefer the looks on the Bando as well. As one thing I didn't mention was the zipper tabs on the Bando. I love these loop zipper, this system. I found these really easy to use, really easy to get used to. Consistently good pulls on these. Easy to find, easy to locate. I'm a really big fan of the loops on the Bando. And now the tabs on the Fade Flex aren't bad necessarily, but they're a little more tedious to grab. And the T-pull on the main concealed carry compartment, again, it's nice, but I actually just prefer the loops. And one thing also on the Fade Flex I should have mentioned earlier was, now that I'm speaking of zippers, the zipper on the back of this is kind of comically small. I just kind of found it funny. If you're going to be using this back pocket to put stuff in often, you'll probably want to put some sort of another tab on here, because this thing is like locating this when you're wearing it. It's so finicky. It's just funny they didn't put something else on this little zipper on the back. Now, some cons with the Bando, I think, again, it's going to kind of just revolve around size. I think if you're going to be carrying a lot of stuff, it gets tight quick. You kind of run out of space quick in here. Kind of limited organization. And, if you're going to be concealed carrying, you're pretty limited on, what you're going to be carrying in here. Now, if you're just carrying, a micro pistol, that's fine. Up to a Glock 19, it's just going to get really tight. I found even with the Glock 19 just gets tight quick, especially if you're trying to still access things in your actual admin pocket. It gets tight quick. So I think, again, that's going to be the negatives with the Bando are going to be kind of just around the size of the actual bag itself. Now, moving to the Fade Flex, again, our pros. It's a bigger pack, a lot more options, but it's slim. Again, it's a slim pack for being able to carry a full-size pistol. I want to emphasize that it's a pretty slim, low-profile design, considering how much space you have inside it, and you being able to carry a full-size pistol. It's still a pretty slim pack, given the space inside. So that's definitely, I think that's my favorite thing about the Fade Flex is just how they were able to keep, a somewhat slim design, but still have so much space inside. So that's I think my favorite thing about the Fade Flex, and also just again the blank canvas thing. You can just kind of do whatever you want in here. I hit on that earlier, but it's a blank canvas. You can customize this in a million different ways, which I think is really cool. So those are kind of my favorite things on the Fade Flex. And again, I do like this belt system in the back's nice. Like I think more bags should adopt a similar system to this. I like this belt system a lot. Being able to tuck away the excess strap. I like that a lot. And then for the cons on the Fade Flex, again, obviously you're gonna have a bigger footprint with this. It's a little heavier. And again, I think just things can kind of move around. If you don't have it packed down, or if you don't have a lot of custom slots built in here, things can kind of just move around throughout the day in this thing quite a bit, I noticed. But I didn't really have too many other cons other than I point out my little zipper here. Come on, let's fix that little zipper. And then I wasn't the biggest fan of these zipper tabs on this. They were okay, but Definitely prefer the loops on the Bando, and then my biggest gripe with this is just the the buckle system here. I think could have just brought the Bando buckle over on this Fade Flex, but again, I think they probably did to cut the weight down because it does feel a lot lighter than the Bando buckle, so it probably was a move to kind of keep the weight down with it being a bigger bag. So that kind of makes sense. So from a CCW standpoint, again, if you're just micro carrying, micro like something like a 365, I would go with the Bando. I think that's kind of like its wheelhouse. It's perfect for that. But anything above like a 365, personally, I would be going with the Fade Flex. I just think you're going to get more versatility. You'll still be able to have your firearm in here, but also use this main pocket here that has a lot of space. You won't be kind of like having to like pinch your fingers through to grab stuff out, like in the Fade Flex if you're carrying anything above a micro. So if you're strictly using this for concealed carry and you want to carry something above a micro, like a 365, I would go with the Fade Flex off that alone. Now, as far as just an everyday pack, a utility pack, a dad pack, whatever it might be, I prefer the Bando just for, well, what I prefer the Bando for was just kind of quick, easy, quick outings. Running the store, running to the park real quick with the kids, well, whatever it might be, like, short, quick outings. It's easy to grab, easy to toss on, super comfortable on my waist, which is actually my preferred method of carrying when I am carrying off body. So I definitely like the Bando from that standpoint. And then I will also say with the Bando, I took this on a 5-night cruise a couple weeks ago and just used it as a utility pack, and it was great for that. Because once you are able to not have the firearm in here, there's quite a bit more space, and you're also able to access your main pocket a lot easier. So the Bando for a utility bag, I really like as well. I really think that was a pretty good use test for it, and I was using it on the cruise. I carry this thing all through the Caribbean, all through a cruise ship. Wore it all day long on hikes. It held up great. So I really liked it as a utility pack. Now I am a dad too, so with 2 young boys. So I really liked, for just like a dad bag, I really have grown fond of this Fade Flex, because you can just pack this thing down with stuff. I mean, I can shove, again, if you're not carrying it with a concealed carry in here, you can just, there's all sorts of space in this thing. I can pack this down and use it for a full day pack, easy. Like going to the theme parks here in Florida, easy peasy. I can just load this thing up with snacks, load it up with anything in here, and I just endless space it feels like. And again, even if you are using it, because obviously I carry this a ton with the firearm in it, and I'm still able to load up this front pocket with, snacks for the whole day. We go out on hikes with my boys. I can just load this space up in here, even when I'm not using this space. So I still am able to use this bag in a lot of different ways, kind of utilizing all that space. Now, if for whatever reason I only could own one of these bags, I don't know why that would be the case, but if I could only own one, I think I would choose the Fade Flex, again, just because of the versatility, being able to carry all different size firearms, being able to load up the inside with just all sorts of goodies and the customization in it. I just kind of think I would choose the Fade Flex. Again, the size of it, the capacity you get with the size. I think it was a great design on the Fade Flex, keeping it kind of low profile, but also giving you a ton of space. So if I could only choose one, I think I would choose the Fade Flex, again, just because that added versatility. But again, I really do, I love the Bando as well. Because again, I carry from the waist. I think it's the perfect off-body waist bag that also doubles really well for a utility bag. No real complaints with it, but if I could only pick one, I'd have to go with the Fade Flex just because of the versatility. And with that, that brings me to the end of our head-to-head on the Fade Flex and the Bando. Again, I love both these packs, so I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. Just kind of got to figure out what you're kind of using the bag for, and you can kind of decide from there. And also, again, like I said before, I have a lot of other concealed carry tactical bag reviews up on the channel, and I will also have a lot more coming up in the next month or so. And I'm going to be doing some more comparison videos. I have a few of the Vertex with the Sock P, as well as the Everyday 2.0. I think I'm going to do the Everyday 2.0 versus the Bando next, and then also I want to do the Fade Flex versus the Vertex Sock P. So if you're interested in that content, please like and subscribe. Helps the channel a lot. And as always, be on the lookout for more reviews from the Review Garage.